Hey and welcome to MFFLtv. I'm your host Dylan and preseason is finally here. We are so close to the real season now. I cannot wait. But before we get into discussion about the first game, as always, like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. With that being said, let's get straight into it. This game we do need to take with a pinch of salt. The Jazz were missing a lot of players. They didn't have Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Conley, Ingles, Bogdanovich, Rudy Gay. So I'm not really looking about the result. The result doesn't matter. Yes, the Mavs won, but Jazz didn't have their team. I'm more looking for individual performances, things that can carry over to the season. That being said, we did start off pretty slow, which is pretty understandable. A lot of the Jazz players, they're not going to be starters. They're guys trying to still earn their minutes in the rotation. So they're expected to play a lot harder for me. The main guys in Dallas, KP, Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., they don't really have anything to prove. Yes, we need a big season from Porzingis, and he does have something to prove, but it's more in the playoffs. It doesn't really matter about game one in the preseason. This is just to try and ramp up, get a feel of the basketball again, and try and get ready for when the season does kick off. But the key thing for me in this game, honestly, was the camaraderie. Everyone on the bench hyping each other up whenever we did anything. When someone put a putback dunk or Boban hit a three, the whole team is up together, and I think that's very important. It is very easy to do that in game one of preseason. You've had a long break, nothing's really gone wrong yet, but that definitely does need to stick around when you're not earning your minutes. We've been on a losing streak, so that's when I really want to see if that's going to be consistent or not. But I thought, first of all, that was definitely a good sign to see. We need everyone on the same page. Last season, there was all these reports about the relationship between KP and Doncic, for instance, and we don't need that. We need everyone on the same page, hyping each other up, because I think a better culture just leads to players wanting to play for one another more. So that's definitely important. However, in terms of the actual game, I thought the rebounding was really good. Yes, the other team didn't have Gobert, but there was a lot of players on Dallas who I think did really well on the boards. Moses Brown, Porzingis, Willie Cauley-Stein, Doncic, even Boban, and Omari. So I think that's a very good sign. Last season we'd constantly get destroyed on the boards, and that's definitely an area of improvement for next season. So, game one of preseason against a weaker opposition, check. At least there was that. We didn't get bullied out there. And before we get into any of the more under the radar stuff, Luka is Luka. In 15 minutes, I think he put up about 19, 5 and 4, if I'm not mistaken. We know he's one of the best players in the world. Don't need to spend too much time. I thought it was interesting at the start of the game. There were a few possessions where Tim Hardaway Jr. brought the ball up instead of him. Maybe that's something we're going to see more into the season. But, the sample size was still a bit small, so I don't know if that was just preseason to get everyone going. But, if that's something Kid does want to stick to, I do like that. I like when other people get the ball more because I think they're just going to be more involved, play better on defense. There's more energy when you get the ball more. So I think that's a good thing as well. Definitely want to see more. Those three guys in particular, Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Luka. They didn't play enough against, good opposition as well to really see what's going to happen. However, I do expect similar things to last season. Luka is so good. You don't want to get the ball completely out of his hands. But there is a little bit of balance that probably could be put in there. And KP, I thought he didn't really get the ball enough. We had all this talk about green light to post up. He's going to get the ball more, be more involved. Personally, I didn't think he got it enough. He had one post up right at the start of the game where he was decisive, had a mismatch against Jordan Clarkson, went straight to the basket and scored, which I really liked. Besides that, I can only remember two other instances where he got it on the post, and I think he lost one and got fouled one. But for me, he's not getting the ball in the right places. He's getting the ball just inside the three-point line. He knows he has a matchup and he's trying to expose that. If that's the case, I think he needs to pass the ball out, reposition himself under the basket, and then give the ball back to Porzingis. If he's trying to body someone with his back to basket from just inside the three-point line, too easy to get the ball stolen, especially with how tall he is. So I think that's something that needs to be worked on for sure. And the other of the big three, Tim Hardaway Jr., he hit a couple tough shots, which was good. But, with him as well, he's going to get his shots up. He's going to hit shots. So I'm not really worried about him. More just get him his minutes, get him his rhythm, and Not too fussed about how many points he put up today. But now going into a bit more under the radar, Boban looked great. Is he our new 3-point sniper? He hit back-to-back threes. Even Jason Kidd was shocked on the bench. The whole crowd was going crazy. The whole bench was going crazy. That was, a really cool moment for him, I guess. I don't expect him to be doing that in the regular season too often. But nonetheless, I thought that was a really cool moment. And you can see how much everyone loves him based on, how many smiles there were when he hit both of his threes. So I definitely thought that was interesting. He finished with about 13 or 14. So no complaints from Boban. I'm wondering how many minutes he's going to get. Dwight Powell, of course, didn't play today. Moses Brown started the game and then sort of didn't play again until late in the fourth quarter in garbage time, which was interesting because I thought Moses Brown started really well, barring his free throw shooting, which definitely has a suspect form. I thought, he rebounded well, contested shots, was a good pick and roll threat. And same as Willie Cauley-Stein, he came in, rebounded very well, got some blocks, hit a mid-range shot. So it definitely is very interesting to see what the rotation will look like. Who's going to play what minutes. The reports are Jason Kidd said Dwight Powell will start. So who's going to get less of the three? I feel like Boban's definitely a serviceable player and someone who can come on and he gets points every time he plays. Yes, his defense is a little bit suspect, but he's someone that can always make an impact. So for that reason, I expect him to get some good minutes throughout the season. Not someone that's going to play every game, but definitely someone when it's not going well to just come on, change the game up, which then predominantly leaves Moses Brown and Willie Cauley-Stein to be the backup. Personally, I think I want to go with Moses Brown. I want to see what he can do under consistent minutes. But I guess that's what this preseason is going to decide who deserves what position. But for now, I thought both of them played really good. All of our centers played really good, to be honest. So really no complaints. Another thing I noticed was Jalen Brunson looked really good in 21 minutes. He had 10 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds. And he looked like he had a really conscious effort to make plays for others. One time he drove baseline, made a really good pass to Maxi Kleber for a dunk. And he did that consistently. He always had his head up. I thought that's a really good sign to see because that was my one criticism of Jalen Brunson. He just didn't get enough people involved. However, if this is what things are to come, then I think he's going to be a fantastic backup point guard. I think learning under Jason Kidd as well will be really good for him. And so, I'm really high on Jalen Brunson. Yes, it's only one game, but just the fact that he was constantly looking up, trying to find people, I think he knows that that's something he lacks as well, and he's trying to make a conscious effort to fix that. So that's a very good sign for me. And one of the guys that wasn't even looking like he was going to make the roster, Khalid Jones on his audition absolutely torches up. Does he deserve a spot? I think based on how he played today, he was very aggressive, really good at getting to the basket, hit a three, hit some pull-up shots. He has a very versatile offensive game. Yes, his defense is a bit questionable. However, he sort of makes up for his lack of size with a lot of energy. He gets up in people's face, which I like to see. But, if he makes it, who doesn't? I want to see him at least in a G League team. I definitely think he has a future place in the NBA. He definitely looked better than some other players in Dallas. Josh Green, who I love, sort of Aussie bias, but I just don't think he really shined. He got his start today on the offensive end. I thought rushed a lot, didn't really look composed. Same as McLaughlin, probably butchered that name, but he's the other guy on the two-way with Eugene Omoruyi. And, he got up a lot of shots. Yes, it's just one game, so maybe he can start hitting those. But from what I've seen Khalid Jones in Summer League and in this game, I think he definitely deserves that other two-way spot instead of McLaughlin. But look, maybe I'll be proved wrong based on the rest of this preseason. But I definitely think Khalid Jones deserves a spot somewhere. And hopefully, if Dallas don't give it to him, hopefully some other teams are watching because I think he definitely deserves a place. He's got great handles, very quick, can shoot the ball. I think that's something a lot of teams could use. So we'll have to see what happens there. Going along with the young guys, I thought Omari looked very good. Had about 3 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. But, he looks very composed on the ball. Is very calm, smooth, never rushes. He looks like a pro. He looks like someone that's been playing in the NBA for a while. And I'm really excited about him in the future. Don't expect him to get many minutes this season. Maybe if we have a few guys hurt or something. However, for the future, I definitely do like Omari. Very complete player, can do a bit of everything. especially grabbing a rebound. He can go coast to coast himself and make a play. A few times he made some bad passes, but it is his first preseason game, so it's understandable. But just his overall skill set, I really like, and I'm very high on. As well as that, Ferron Hunt looked good. He made an impact when he wasn't hitting shots. He was crashing the offensive boards with some putbacks. Made a nice drive and finish. So, as well, does he maybe find a way to be on this team? He's a bit raw offensively, but great motor, very athletic, long, lanky. So I think he's probably going to get a good look from a lot of teams as well around the league. Or worst case scenario, I do expect him to sign somewhere in the G League or maybe internationally, because that a lot of tools that teams need. Those are my general basic thoughts of the game. Again, you don't want to look too much into it. It is just the first game. The next game is Saturday in Australian time, so probably Friday in America. Again, the result won't be too much. We'll have to see who plays, but sort of just look at little things, try and see what can carry on to the season and help us improve. Actually, last thing, I thought both our new guys, Sterling and Bullock, looked good at times. Bullock hit some threes, Sterling Brown hit one, had a really nice reverse dunk as well. So I'll be interested to see how they look. Bullock came in the game a lot later than I thought, didn't get many minutes. He did recently come back from illness, so maybe that has something to do with it. But yeah, I think we're going to be a really deep team this season with a lot of players that can come in and make a contribution. But let me know, what did you notice from the game? Did I miss anything? Please let me know in the comments section down below. Always love having a chat with you guys. And once again, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in that next video.